Now I'm at the point you wanna be with me. I'm vibing out at a higher frequency, cause everything that I want and I'm gonna be, it's when I wake up, that's when I start to dream. Someone you love is talking down, here is the plan. Let it fall through like a handful of sand. Nothing happens overnight, what you must understand. If you dwell on the bad, then you don't stand a chance. Something you want upset, saying why it ain't mine yet. That's because now you have yet to change your mindset. People don't put their mind to rest while they're so wired. A lot of people go to sleep and wake up tired. Power of positivity and persistence. Say that I can, we'll just sit back and witness. Make an impact when our time is done. Make money, help people, and have lots of fun. Whoa.
Welcome to Office Hours, hosted by legendary sports executive, entrepreneur, and investor David Meltzer, where the brightest entrepreneurial minds in business, sports, and entertainment get together to talk about success, failure, and everything in between.
And that's where success is, in that gray area, finding ways to create innovation.
While you're feeling the sting of your setback, God is preparing your comeback.
Take a deep dive into the mind of some of the world's most impactful guests.
You know, what would you advise either your younger self or what would you advise to somebody else going through it? And I would very much advise people to go straight into the thing that they know that they want to do.
Action is the antidote to anxiety, right? So what actions can I take over market anxieties and anxiety I have over things I can't control?
To share their strategies and tools to dominate their respective fields.
Whatever it is you're trying to heal from, you can't fully heal from it if you're not all the way in.
It's not how smart you are, it's how are you smart. And when you understand your brain type, it also, that self-awareness is a superpower, but it also informs how you can relate to other individuals.
No matter what level you think you're at or where others think you are, you got to reach up.
David Meltzer hosts Office Hours.
All of us. So I want to thank both of you. And to that testament, it was fun to be in New York City last week. We're going to be back, though, Ramon. We'll be back on the 20th at Madison Square Garden with Martha Stewart. We're going to be with A-Rod and Big Poppy and Tim Stork, Danny Fleischman, all our crew at the Aspire Business Tour, having the Aspire VIP dinner afterwards, right by MSG. So I always give first priority to the brethren here at Community. So the Breakfast of Champions is our community. It's a frequency, a neighborhood of people who want to help each other and know people that can help each other. So let's all remember, we get to be here early in the morning after amazing 4th of July. And I'm going to let the amazing Nick of Wam, that's the well-oiled machine.
Dave, I still can't believe we were in New York at the same time and I missed you, bro.
I feel like,
still can't believe that.
hey, Glenn Lundy, there's a TV show called Dark Matter, and not Dark Matters, but Dark Matter. And so don't worry, the black jobs are still available, regardless of who says what. Ridiculous. More importantly, it's about quantum, and so people are at the same place in an infinite amount of choices when you make a choice. So I think when you come on, I'm like, maybe you got to see the Dark Matter show. Maybe Glenn Lundy is me, and he just has figured the black box to get to my version of me, because you're my version of me. And every once in a while they synchronize together, and they synchronized in Times Square. The funniest thing was Nick, the WOM himself, the well-oiled machine, he turned to me. We had, all the Profound group. We had a lot of people in Times Square, big billboard for the collab with Dane Cook, Rob Riggle, me, Marshall, Baron Davis, etc. And out of nowhere, Nick goes, "Hey, I think Glenn Lundy just drove by in a bike." And I'm like, why would he stop? And then the next day you're like, dude, I was in Times Square, but I wasn't on a bike. So I just see it as a sign that you and I need to get to the same place at the same time and recognize it. How does that sound?
That sounds fantastic. I think that absolutely needs to happen. It's been a little bit of a wild year.
Yeah.
I'm moving in lots of directions, but one direction I don't want to move is further away from you. So we got to bring that quantum connection back together for sure.
Well, my love is deep for Ramon and Scott, and especially the creator of the Breakfast of Champions, who is blessing us today. And it's so good to hear my voice. I mean, your voice this morning. Hey, before Glenn, we get the Nick of Wam, we're going to do takeaway for June, takeaway for the month. And I was hoping maybe you could give a quick share on something that you've learned over the last month that has resonated with you, it had an impact on you and others.
Oh my gosh, bro. Do I have the whole hour?
Take what you need, man. I'll sit back and play on TikTok if you're going to take an hour.
My goodness, man. So June was an incredibly wild month for us. I bought a car dealership in June. And
What kind of car dealership?
So it is a used car dealership, but it is a satellite store, so it's connected to a large dealership group. So we basically have all the resources of a franchise dealer, but we don't have any of the politics, limitations, or restrictions of a franchise dealer, which allows us to do, we can be as creative as we want. We can paint the building the way we want. We can do our advertising the way we want, our marketing the way we want. We're actually going to run the company with no one's going to have a schedule, and everyone's going to have every 7 weeks, every 7th week off. So it's been wild. So we're transitioning a little bit. Our consulting company, we typically consult for other dealers. Now we're consulting for a dealership that I own. And the biggest lesson, Dave, that I will share is I am having to remind myself minute by minute that scale is not possible unless I allow others to blossom, right? To make decisions, to make mistakes, to do all of. So every ounce of me on this, as we've been putting this dealership together, which, by the way, if you guys want to follow along on this, I'm vlogging it every day on YouTube, 800% Elite Auto Sales. I'm doing a daily vlog as we're building this. But every ounce of me wants to get in there, Dave. I want to get in there, and I want to set the appointments. I want to put together the software. I want to build the computers. I want to clean the place. I want to start sell car. Like every ounce of me wants to get in there, and I'm having to remind myself, scale is not possible unless I allow these people to grow and thrive. And so instead of doing the things myself, I am leading and allowing others to make the decisions that ultimately are going to lead to our success. So that's been a big one for me. That's
a great lesson. And for me, I try always to simplify things, because if I can't simplify it, I don't know it. And if I don't know it, I can't grow it. And in order to grow it, I need to, work and make the investment in exactly what you're talking about, to make the investment in other people, in allowing them to shadow the situation and me, in order to facilitate a mindset that allows them to make choices aligned with the ones that I would have made or better. And then I also have to invest a period of time to work with the people so that we can have questions and suggestions in practice and improve at an exponential rate, taking advantage of the investment period that you're in right now, where you're not making the money because you are investing in the doubling effect that scales, and you will forget the pain of that investment, because eventually you will just be supervising, and then those that which you supervise will be shadowed working with and creating supervisors themselves. That's super exciting. Mike, real quick, Glenn, can people buy cars from you? Like if I want a new Porsche, can I buy, or used Porsche, can I buy that from you?
Today, no. In 30 days, yes.
Nice.
So starting August 5th, anything you want, anything you need, I'll be able to get it.
I love it. All right. Well, this community will support you, and I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what you do next. You built amazing dealerships. Now it's time for you to do it for yourself. You can't give what you don't have. Everybody, if you're not following my best buddy, the man who created the Breakfast of Champions, that's Glenn Lundy. He sounds just like me. He just looks better, younger, smarter, and he's proving it every day. Glenn, let's make sure over this weekend that we talk and we make a plan on when you and I can meet in person and give each other a hug. What do you say?
I am absolutely about that. And as a matter of fact, Colleen just sent me a text like 5 minutes ago asking what my schedule was. So we are going to make that happen for sure.
Yeah, Colleen's on it. That's awesome. All right, brother. Send our love. Everyone, give a big round of applause for the creator himself, the co-creator, Glenn Lundy, co-creator of his life, that is, and the 800 Elite Club. He is a dear, dear, dear person in my life. He's amazing. We have so many synchronicities, by the way. We'll tell the beach house story some other day. But in the meantime, it's takeaway of the month. We're going to talk about our biggest takeaways in the last month, coming off of July 4th. Freedom is abound. If you get to do what you want, when you want, with who you want, for as long as you want, then you are free. And people give up their lives for that. And they've given up their lives for that opportunity here in America. Let's all work towards to help facilitate a community of people that are doing what they want, when they want, with who they want, for as long as they want. All right, Womnick, we had a little bit of a pause to have my boy, the GL AMG himself, Glenn Lundy, on. Wom, why don't you go ahead and set the room, let everybody know where we're going to be, because obviously if Glenn Lundy doesn't know where we're going to be, then this group doesn't know where we're going to be. So let everybody know where we're going to be, set the room, and let's take the first takeaway from you.
Absolutely. Let's get rocking and rolling. Happy Friday, everybody. There's no place I would rather be, especially on a day after a holiday, than with this community and with you, David. So I want to thank you for showing up each and every Friday. Of course, today's topic for David's Free Friday training, which will be 25 years this October, and of course his Power Hour here live on Clubhouse, is takeaway of the month. So as we continue to share the room with all of our friends, family, and colleagues, as you have your takeaway to share today, use the hand icon in the lower right hand corner of your screen to request to join the stage, and we will of course aim to bring you up. If you are already on stage and you would like to share your takeaway as well, please just make sure to put a note in the room chat so I can, of course, make sure to pass it over your way. Now, in terms of the schedule and where we are going to be, we're taking a look at first next Thursday. We got July 11th. We're going to be in Las Vegas with our friends at the SiriusXM studio, hosting a meetup and even a VIP dinner. I believe our good friend Forrest Griffin is going to try and stop by. We got the Flex Jewish himself, and many, many more. The following week, we are going to be in Los Angeles on Monday the 15th, hosting a mastermind at SoFi Stadium with some of our incredible friends like Marie Diamond and Greg Lutzka and Alex Paykoff and many, many more. That Friday, July 19th, we have the big one, folks, the collab. Dane Cook and David Meltzer, hosted by Rob Riggle, with special guests Marshall Falk, Baron Davis, Diane Cannon, and so many more. Of course, this event is going to be at YouTube Theater, which is right there at SoFi Stadium and Hollywood Park. And you can go ahead and get your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Then
and also the Breakfast of Champions group, if you guys want and utilize the VIP experience, we'll bring you up on stage to collaborate and ask a question with Dane, myself, Rob Riggle, Baron Davis, Marshall Falk, etc. So there's an opportunity. That's why it's called the collab. We're basically mirroring what we do here on the Breakfast of Champions, but on a big stage at a big venue. So please reach out to us or go to Ticketmaster if you just want to attend. We are going to have a great time on that Friday night. Sorry for interrupting, Womnick.
Not a problem, not a problem. And last but not least, the big date I want to make sure everybody is aware of is Saturday, July 20th. I know David mentioned it, but for everybody on that East Coast, or especially in New York City, we will be back in New York for the Aspire Business Tour at Madison Square Garden. I know David's going to be doing their VIP Diamond Lunch. He's going to have a meetup right outside of MSG, and of course the VIP dinner later in the evening with Tim Story. I know be sharing the stage with Alex Rodriguez and Big Poppy and Martha Stewart and Stephen A. Smith and David Goggins and so many others. Those tickets can be got. You can get those tickets at Ticketmaster.com as well for Aspire. And if you'd like to join us for the meetup or the VIP dinner, just make sure to reach out to David directly. David@dmeltzer.com. And of course, you can join the text community as well, so you get the reminders on where David's going to be. I know David and I need them more than anybody.
No, Glenn needs it more than we do.
That's very true. Glenn Lundy, and then you and I.
Right.
But that text community is the 949-298-2905, and both can be found there in the room chat. Now, when it comes to my takeaway of the month, I'm going to share a very powerful quote that I've learned not only from David, but from, I believe, mentors that have served for him in the past as well. But the quote is, "It all begins and ends in your mind. What you give power to has power over you if you allow it." And for me, that was my takeaway for the month as I continue to get even more intentional about energetic frequency and, actually giving things, giving the right positive behaviors and people in my life that power, not giving it the power over me. And that has been a huge life changer for me. And I definitely encourage anybody and everybody to lean in and be more intentional about what they give power to. So that was my takeaway of the month. David, I would be honored if you would please bless us with your beautiful takeaway as well.
Yeah, my takeaway of the month is about humility. And it started with a quote: "You're either humble or you're about to be." And the minutes and moments I spend outside of humility, with all of these exciting things going on and building more and more exciting things on top of more exciting things, and the size, scope, and scale of the things growing so much, knowing that the biggest mistake I made in the first half of my journey was to believe my own bullshit and to buy into the size, scope, and scale of the bullshit. And in the end, I focus in on, through humility, the capacity that I have, not the appearance of what people or I want people to think. And although I take feedback, the suggestions and questions philosophy that I have, and inspire and incentivize everyone around me to have questions and suggestions, in the end, it's the prioritization of those values through radical humility to remind myself, no matter what. And this is what I like about the Dark Matter show, is it explains and put into perspective infinite choices, an infinite life of more than enough. And if you took a few minutes every day to realize how infinite we are, then you would only want to live in radical humility. To say to yourself, when you think you're bigger or better or brighter than you think you are, remind yourself, remember and recollect the humility that created you, that there is always something bigger than you that knows everything, that creates a universe, an infinite, abundant, unified system of thought in which you are a part of, to bring the humility that if I am not walking in humility, I'm about to be. And I will tell you, the indicator that you're about to be is called pain, setbacks, failures, and mistakes. And so if you want those type of indicators to remind, remember, and recollect you with the greater and the bigger that protects, promotes, and loves you, the omniscient, all-powerful, if you want that, I promise you those pain, setbacks, and failures, they'll keep on coming until you learn the humility that it takes, that we don't know what we don't know. Therefore, Our journey is regulated by doing our best, learning lessons, and having fun. If you want 3 discipline criteria in which to evaluate your steps each and every day, the 24 hours a day that you're guaranteed, except for, of course, the last day of your life, you will be cheated seconds, minutes, or hours. That's also guaranteed. If you want to check your steps, then walk in humility. Walk in humility and go ahead each time you're indicated through pain, setbacks, failures, and mistakes that you have a lesson to learn. Remind, remember, and recollect that humility. Because if you're not humble, you're about to be. All right, the Nick of Wam. It's enough of us. We're through the first quarter. We haven't even got to the community. It's a different day. It's a free day. It's the day after. Let's celebrate everything celebratable. I'll create a holiday called the day after the 4th. If you want, you can just, why don't we just, Nick, let's create a holiday called the day after. And so every single day will be a holiday because we're always in the day after celebrating something yesterday. So go ahead, Wammer, the well-oiled machine of Nick. Who wants to give me their first takeaway?
Absolutely. We have so many requests this morning, which I want to thank everybody for joining us, of course. I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Colleen to get us started. And then we have so many more to follow. But Colleen, feel free to unmute yourself and share that takeaway. And happy Friday, of course.
Thank you, Nick. What an awesome surprise having Glenn on this morning. That was great. My takeaway from this month is we have been really focusing in on this idea of legacy and the shift in perspective that I've had from what I thought leaving a legacy was. The idea of being on your deathbed and people saying, this is what I remember him by. He was a hard worker. He was kind. She was thoughtful. But the idea of legacy really is it's evolved, and it's not just about what people will remember you for, but what are you doing today in order to help create that legacy for, the remaining parts of your life, leading up to when you pass, leading on to what everybody will remember you for, things that are going to go on that you've left behind after you're gone. So I thought that was so powerful, and understanding that there are things that you should be doing today in order to really build out what that legacy looks like.
Absolutely. And, legacy is a current situation, right? It doesn't mean you're dead. And so what have you done in the past that you're learning from in order to effectuate an acceleration, an aggregation, a compounding impact? And so each and every day, which is how, Colleen, we've derived the 5 daily practices. It's in the context of thriving. And so one of the things I look or evaluate in a quantitative way is, what is thriving in my life? What energy did I create that's creating more energy? Our children, obviously, are a great legacy. Our businesses can be legacy. Training courses can be legacy. Content can be legacy. And there's so many things that we've already done that have impacted and are thriving. And utilizing good behavior and good practices each day of knowing what we want today in the trajectory, the divine direction of our legacy in divine time, who we can help with that legacy, who can help us. How best can I utilize the 24 hours a today that's guaranteed me, except for it's the last day of my life, and then prioritize accordingly as an antidote to procrastination and feeling overwhelmed that there's just too much in this infinite universe. And then utilizing that time in order to be in spirit, inspired, to identify the reactions to fear and minimize the amount of time that we spend in interference, shortening the distance of resistance that we give to our legacy. So legacy, your legacy exists today. And what will it be tomorrow? And that which thrives will be your legacy. Good behavior will lead you into a good progress, which will lead you into good outcomes. Bad behavior will lead to bad progress that gets bad outcomes. And if you want bad things to thrive or good things to thrive, then we need to have a narrow perspective of today. And so we have to utilize those 5 daily practices if anybody would like those practices, they've changed my life. Incorporated in those is the student of the calendar. Step 3, know your how, utilizing time as a productive, accessible, and gracious manner. Go ahead, email me. I'll send that with my book. Sign it, send it, pay for shipping and the book. Always david@dmeltzer.com. What a great takeaway. What's your legacy today, and what do you want it to be tomorrow? Are 2 questions that you want to ask, incorporated with for the sake of what? Giving it purpose by asking for the sake of what, and incorporating it into your daily legacy and your future legacy, a divine direction in divine time. Nick of WOM, we're starting on fire. We thought it was great with Glenn Lundy. Colleen just hit it out of the park. Who's up next?
Boom. Let's keep this thing rocking and rolling. Thank you so much, Colleen. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Judith. Judith, happy Friday. Great to see you here. Thank you for your patience. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway. Oh, Judith, the unmute button is the lower right-hand corner where the microphone is. There she is.
Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Dave. I'm reading your book, Connected to Goodness, for the 3rd time. And I just had to read it over again because there's so many good nuggets in it. But one of the lines that I really caught on and is a great takeaway for me is daydreaming is simply allowing your subconscious to take over and letting things passively come to you. I dream with my eyes wide open now. And I'm a new entrepreneur. Well, I'm not new anymore. I've been an entrepreneur for a while. And I am starting the 3rd quarter of this year with 3 vans. And I'm working on my business instead of in my business. And I'm spending more time in my office. So I just wanted to share. And I just wanted you to know that, this book is great. I walk around with it. I keep it in my van with me and I read it all the time. So thank you for sharing.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. And it's so interesting that you bring up that takeaway, because obviously I wrote that book and things have changed and my understanding has changed. It even goes deeper, that not only do we daydream and allow that to happen, but the majority of our life is spent dreaming. So obviously when we're sleeping, but also the majority of our day, we are daydreaming. And it's, what are we filling those dreams with? What narratives? Are you sitting on TikTok with positive or negative narratives? Are you listening to what other people want, what's missing, what doesn't, and you don't have? Are you just allowing your subconscious to be repetitive in its nature, with 80% of the narrative being negative? If we are daydreaming the majority of our lives and we give meaning to everything we see, then in order to be intentional about our daydreaming and our night dreaming is essential. And to create a narrative that's going to lead us in the divine direction, in divine time, in a trajectory of where we want to be or better, it takes discipline. And that reminder, that remembrance, that recollection with our source, that we have an infinite amount of power, that we have an infinite amount of time in order to effectuate what and how and who and where we want to be, with the ability to live our lives with who we want, when we want, for as long as we want, every single day. And so I want people to realize how powerful their dreams are, and that if we fill those dreams with the wrong activities, then we are going to lead ourselves into the wrong trajectory and farther and further away from the divine direction that we want to live our lives in. And so for me, that's a very powerful takeaway. Added to that takeaway is, be conscious of the narrative that you're filling those daydreams and night dreams with, because it is that narrative that will determine our reality. Awesome. Judith, thank you so much. And if anybody else would like my book, I give it away for free. I will pay for shipping, pay for the book. I will sign it for you. You can carry it around. I actually heard a very funny story that someone's car got broke into. I was doing a meetup and they said, "Can I have another book? Someone broke into my car and stole your book." I didn't know how to take the fact that you either have to be completely disturbed to steal a book called Connected to Goodness, or it must be a great calling if you want to steal that book. But there's no reason to steal it because I'll give it to you. I'll pay for shipping and the book. Thank you, Judith. All right, Nick of Wam, we are almost at halftime. We're little past halftime this year, and it's always good to take reflection at halftime. Go ahead. Let's bring up the next person and the takeaway of the day.
Absolutely. We have the incredible Dora Maria, who is up next. Dora, it's great to see you. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and share that takeaway to get us to the half point, to the halftime for this incredible Power Hour.
Awesome. And thank you so much, Nick and Dave, for the opportunity. For me, this past month, I had to do the part 2 of my moving out west and deal with my sister's wedding at the same time. And it was just like onboarding to a new job, moving, and a family wedding. It was a lot. And when I reflect back in this past month, it's like you can't do everything in one day. Take things one moment at a time. And that has helped me to start July off with fire. And that was my biggest takeaway, that you can't do everything in one day.
I love it.
So back to you.
That's awesome, Dora. Because so many people start their day feeling overwhelmed because they don't say thank you and they don't tell themselves exactly that. I am so blessed. This is how I start my day. So blessed that I have more options, more opportunities, more touches of favor than I've ever dreamed of. And I certainly can't get it all done today. Therefore, I have to use the 5 daily practices in order to prioritize my day. Because if I can't get everything done today, and I feel blessed because I have more than enough to do, more than enough options, opportunities, and touches of favor, I'm only working against myself if I feel overwhelmed or I procrastinate. And so the first step is that blessing in the morning to say thank you. Thank you that I have so much to do today. And my job, in order to effectuate where I want to be or better, is to get as much done as I can in alignment with where I want to be or better, and not procrastinate, not to create resistance by feeling overwhelmed, and to start off in humility that, gosh, I'm so blessed. There's more than enough to do today. And I'm just going to get the most important things I can done. And I'm going to work through my day, because prioritization is the antidote to procrastination. Prioritization is the antidote to that feeling that we have in the morning when we're overwhelmed because we know inherently that we can't get everything done today, which is exactly where you want to be. You want to be in a place with more than enough of everything for everyone, and just be able to choose what is most important to you by determining the what, the who, and the how. Now you can determine your now, knowing that 100% of the things you do now get done. I've been playing a lot of golf with my son. I keep telling him 100% of short putts don't go in. Give yourself a chance. So 100% of the things that you do now get done. Give yourself a chance. Don't sit around high, sick, and broke on your mom's couch dreaming about what you want to do. Do it now. And I'm not stealing that from Nike. It is absolutely a mathematical way in which to have the perspective of more than enough of everything for everyone, like you do, to wake up blessed. So next time you feel overwhelmed, say thank you. Thank you for giving me more than enough of everything for everyone. Thank you for giving me options, opportunities, touches of favor. I'm going to go prioritize it and do it now. What a great takeaway for everyone. That's why we know the easiest and fastest way to get to where you want to be is to say thank you, not only before you go to bed, but when you wake up. Thank you so much, Dora. We will talk to you soon. The Nick of Wam, we are rocking and rolling as always. Who has the next takeaway of the month?
Absolutely, David. Because we are at halftime, you might have do a quick reset of the room, and then we'll keep it rocking and rolling.
You know, you're actually in charge. You're the boss. So you do you. I'll sit back. Maybe I'll check my emails while you reset the room.
Beautiful. Just a quick reset, everybody. Of course, happy Friday. Today's topic is the takeaway of the month. So as we continue to share the room with all of our friends and family and colleagues, anybody that we believe would benefit from this beautiful conversation and community, let's make sure as well as you have your takeaways to use that hand icon to request to join the stage. And we will, of course, aim to bring you up. If you are already on stage, please make sure to put something in the chat, and I'll pass the mic over your way. And I did see a few comments, David, of people that wanted to get a copy of your book, which, just as a reminder for everybody, David will send you the book, he will sign a copy, and pay for shipping. It is completely for free. It is not the, you jump on there and then it's, $20 for shipping. It is completely for free, people. All you have to do is email David directly. David@dmeltzer.com. Once again, just David@dmeltzer.com. Now, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to the one and only Chima. Chima, it's great to see you. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway.
Hi, Nick. Thank you, and hope you can hear me.
I can hear you great.
Good, great. Yes, no, thanks for last week. I've had some very incredible takeaways since speaking to you. It's just funny how they happen. There's a lady that started this initiative called The Handbook. The Handbook is a database of 600,000 celebrities. It's got all the information you ever wanted to know about everything, where they eat, what they do, how they're happy, their agents, everything. It's a resource that I've always wanted to use in our work. And I was in touch with her when she launched this project some years ago, and she reached out of the blues last week, just before you, and said, "Hey, I haven't heard from you for a while. Can we have a chat?" And so we talked yesterday, and she wants to collaborate as well. She's so excited to be part of this. She says, "Look, I really want to be part. Give me the material, the same material I gave to you, and David, let me think and let's work on what we can do to help." And she's got all this access. So I don't know what's happening, but it's a good takeaway, and I'm happy for it.
Yeah, well, there's a mathematical equation relative to what's happening, Chima, in your life, and it's called what you pay attention to plus what you give intention to, what you do, say, think, feel, and believe, aligned with where you think you want to be or better, will create those coincidences, the coinciding of the universe, the consequences, results, and outcomes that are created. I call it the mathematical equation of luck, karma. And when we focus in on, whether it's through vision boards or conversations or reading or videos or any type of content in which we're absorbing, plus we then align with the intention of doing and saying and thinking and feeling and believing with where we want to be or better in the context of divine direction, within the context of divine time, knowing that we're in the right place at the perfect time, we will create coincidences like Glenn Lundy being in Times Square when we're in Times Square. These coincidences are what we pay attention to and give intention to. It's the mathematical equation of luck. That's Chima's takeaway of the month, and we certainly appreciate his participation in this community and his availability to everyone to be of service and of value. This is a neighborhood. This is a community, a frequency of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of it. I got a ton of emails coming in, Nick, as I told you I'd check those for my free book. So thanks for doing that, the Nick of Wam. The Well-Oiled Machine. Who's up next?
Absolutely. I'm going to pass it over to Julie. Julie, thank you for your patience. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway. Thank you so much.
Hi, Nick. Hi, David. It was so good to see you guys in Boca. And my takeaway for the month is something that David said to me while we were in the hot sun in Boca Raton, Florida. And it was, Julie, you just need to consistently show up. And that is my takeaway, that we need to consistently show up, consistently be consistent, and be optimistic about opportunities that are coming our way. So thank you for letting me share that today. And hi, everybody. I hope you're having a great day.
Thank you, Julian. It was fabulous to see everyone. It's amazing people show up, by the way, which is why I do meetups and I hold court and I do speeches and have VIP dinners and whatever it is virtually that we do every single day, from Free Friday trainings for almost 25 years to Ask Me Anythings and the IGs and the LinkedIns and the office hours and the 2-minute drills. All these things people are showing up to. And if you don't show up, you won't be part of that collective. And the collective has the characteristics that allow us to be statistically successful. When we show up, what happens is we start aggregating the same of what we want. We start accelerating what we want, or better, and we get an exponentiality by showing up. And so these three characteristics of energy, which I learned, by the way, through my relationship of money, because the characteristics that I want with money is I want money to attract more money. I want it to happen faster, and I want it to happen at an exponential rate. And then I started saying, geez, as I transformed my God from the wrong one into the omniscient, all-powerful one that protects, promotes me, and loves me, not the one that's green with presidents and others on the front of it, I started to realize, why am I not applying the characteristics of energy to all that matters to me, all that's important to me? But in order for me to effectuate that physics of the universe, the quantum of the universe of aggregation, acceleration, and compounding of results, I got to show up. I have to show up. No matter how hot it is, how far it is, how much it costs, I need to show up. And it is amazing what happens when we pay attention and give intention, when we show up as a collective to receive the physics, the benefits of the universe of aggregation, acceleration, and most importantly, allowing my results to be compounded in the positive, in a divine direction towards where I want to be or better. That's awesome. Thank you, by the way, for showing up, Julie. And you please keep showing up. We're in 200 cities a year, and we are booked. We're over 100 through July 1st. We're booked throughout the end of the year, and it keeps growing. So whether you're going to come meet us in Las Vegas next week as a precursor to the Forward event with our friends, the Brother Dingra there, or SoFi Mastermind on Monday of the next week, the 15th, or if you want to collaborate with Dane Cook and I, and Rob Riggle will be there, MC and hosting it, Baron Davis, Marshall Falk, Maria Diamond, Diane Cannon, the list goes on and on and on. Or you want to come Friday with Tim Story and Dan Fleischman and Martha Stewart and Stephen A. Scott and Big Poppy and A-Rod, and come to dinner with us. It's up to you. But if you don't show up, I promise you nothing will happen. So if you want to live like a tube, food in and food out, don't show up. If you want possibilities, probabilities, and perspective to get to where you want to be or better, show up. It's that easy. Thanks for showing up, everyone, today for the Breakfast of Champion. We are celebrating all that's celebratable. We are celebrating all that's celebratable, easy for me to say, as we are celebrating the holiday called the day after. And so if you are going to celebrate with me, it's a holiday that occurs 365 days a year. And every 4 years, we'll celebrate it 366 days a year. It's called the day after. And so let's celebrate the day after. Let's give meaning to everything that we see by aligning our past, and give meaning to our past by finding the light, the love, and the lessons in the past, and celebrate with me the day after. All right. Happy day after, Nick. Who's up next?
Absolutely. We have the incredible Mary Lynn, who is in the house this morning. So, Mary Lynn, I'll go ahead and pass it over to you to share your takeaway. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, guys. Happy Friday, fellow father of a Miles. And just wanted to say, this month has been full of changes. So, as the leader of Breakfast with Champions, the owner, the CEO, I have always felt that it was important to remain relatable. And, that's why people, like Mary Lynn, is because I'm relatable. But I've had to find a balance between having a clear vision and a strong voice. And I've learned it doesn't make me any less relatable to stand in my power. So back to you guys. That is my takeaway.
Oh, my.
Happy day after.
Well, thank you so much. And yes, it's amazing. I'm going to be supporting the Women's International Summit. And as a father of 3 girls, married, a mama's boy, women are extremely important in my life, and to create the path as an advantageous participant in the United States, meaning that I'm a middle-aged, white, wealthy male. And so I have every advantage. And some of those I've earned, and some I were born into. It's my vision to help everyone, but especially women of color, actually to step into their power, to stand in their power. And that we have for too long not provided the support, especially financially, to women in order to stand in their power and to liberate their lives as they have liberated so many other people's lives, to liberate their light as they have liberated everyone's life. You see, everyone on earth has a mom. Every single person on earth. So they have been liberated from a woman, and they are empowered by women, but yet too many women don't stand in that power, and they give that power away for a variety of historical, social, economic reasons that we now have surpassed and evolved past. And so, Mary, I am absolutely in support of you. I'm so grateful, and to elevate that message, that takeaway of the month, that let's all stand in our power. And one of the greatest ways to stand in our power is to ask for help, and to not only be aware of all that we're given, which you and so many other wonderful women do, but feel worthy of receiving it and ask for more. Stand in that power. See, don't live in the zero-sum game. I see so many first responders and United States veterans and moms and women. They live in a zero-sum game where they give 100% to everyone else, and they don't stand in their power. Although they're aware of all that they're given, they don't feel worthy of receiving it, and they don't ask for more. And so they end up trading, negotiating 100% for less every single time. 100% I give, I'm not worthy of more, so I'll take less. Well, eventually, if you keep taking less, if you're not asking for more, if you don't feel worthy of receiving, you're going to end up with zero in a zero-sum game. And so what I want every person, especially women of color, I want you to stand up and stand in your power and liberate yourself and others by saying, I am going to give 100%. I am given 100%. I am going to receive 100%. And I'm going to ask for more. Now I'm going to give even more, be given more, receive more, and ask for more than more. I'm going to give more than more, give it more and more, receive more than more, and ask for more than more. So instead of ending up with zero, I'm going to end up in the universe, the world that I was meant to be in, the world of more than enough. So stand in that light, stand in that power. And the fastest way to get there is to find someone that's already there and ask them for help. Because you're already helping other people get to where they want to be, which is the second way to get where you want to be. As it says right behind me, the fastest way to happiness is to make someone else happy. But go ahead and ask for help being happy yourself. The more happy you are, the more happiness you can give. Thank you so much. You have hit a chord within me. I appreciate that takeaway so much. And please, everyone in the community, let's support Mary Lynn. She's amazing for leading us and giving us this community. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Nick of Wam, we're in the fourth quarter. Hold up 4 fingers. Let's go ahead and finish strong.
Absolutely. And I want to thank everybody in the audience and, of course, this community, let alone you, David, for showing up and celebrating what is the day after. It is the empty milers that show up in the day after on a morning at 6 a.m. Pacific or 9 a.m. Eastern to be a part of this community and to continue to invest in themselves. That is a huge differentiating factor. So I just want to acknowledge that, not only of you, David, but of course, everybody in this abundant community. And with that said, I will go ahead and pass it over to the DJ himself, Mr. Dave Berlin, who has joined us this morning. Dave, it's great to see you. Happy Friday. Feel free to unmute yourself and share your takeaway.
Oh, Dave, the unmute button is the lower right-hand corner where the microphone is. And if you are having difficulty, I know Glenda has a takeaway as well. It looks like he's having a little bit of technical difficulty. So, Glenda, I will go ahead and pass it over to you. Feel free to unmute yourself and share away.
Thank you so much. And my biggest takeaway for the month of June is thanking you and for David for hosting a VIP dinner in Toronto, because the most important thing is surrounding yourself with people who can give you more than you even realize. So your night of connecting out with other souls who are of equal-minded and above allows us to absorb so much more than even realize. I didn't even realize how much I got out of that evening until the next day when I sat back and started thinking about the conversations and started connecting up with the other people who were at it. So just being able to put yourself out there to others is a huge addition to all of our lives. Thank you both for doing what you do. I really appreciate it.
God bless you so much. And it's amazing because most of the things that we do are free. And there's some things we do with more proximity and intimate and greater hard costs, like, putting on the collab at YouTube Theater and the VIP dinners that we have over the top. And a lot of people ask, well, I want to come for free. I'm like, well, first of all, we do enough for free. These sell out. And we guarantee them, though, so we'd want to mitigate all risk for people. But invariably, the people that do make the investment in themselves, it's amazing the ROI that they get from it. We have set up a bunch of people, and one of the qualifiers, as it is with some of the other stuff I do, is do you see the value? It's a neighborhood of people that want to help each other and know people that can help each other. We bring in the world thought leaders. The people that show up are extraordinary people that normally charge anywhere from $25,000 to $250,000 to speak, whether it's Gary Vee or Jim Quick or Tim Story or Richard Jaffe. The list goes on and on. And yet, there's people that qualify themselves by saying, oh, I can't afford to be there. No, you can't afford not to be there. And we will guarantee it. So there's no risk. So if you take the chance and take your time, which is more valuable than any, and you show up to one of the things we do charge for, everything I do is guaranteed as a profit center. And if it's not a problem. But we want people that are there invested in being in there, not just, hey, I'll show up to Free Friday training when it's convenient. Because today's the day after. The day after we're celebrating the 4th of July. And invariably, when we're in the day after, our Friday trainings have half as many people show up. Over 100,000 people register. And we know exactly how many people are on Instagram and LinkedIn and IG and our registered webinar as well, and the Breakfast of Champions. This is when you should show up. And thank you for reminding me how important it is to provide more value than we ask for and make sure that we qualify people for those who understand guaranteed investment and profit center so well. Thank you so much. And we encourage everyone to show up, whether it's for free Friday trainings, free meetups, free holding courts, or our networking group that we have on Mondays, right? You get one-on-one coaching and networking with me on Mondays. Ask Me Anything's on Mondays. We do a ton of different stuff. Or if it's just reaching out and asking for a book, it's free. I'll sign it, send it to you, pay for shipping in the book. Come to our dinners, come to the speeches, come to the events, the masterminds. There's more than enough to choose from. Prioritize what's aligned with where you want to be or better. But please show up seems to be a theme today. And thank you everyone for showing up here. Nick, we got 9 minutes. What do you say?
I say a good friend of ours is back again.
Shady?
Jimmy's back. Everybody tell a friend. Mr. Jimmy Nelson, happy Friday, my friend. Feel free to unmute yourself and share that beautiful perspective and your takeaway of the month.
Well, happy day after the 4th, gentlemen. I hope you had a good one.
Oh, amazing. And happy day after, my brother. It's good to see you.
Absolutely. I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks at the collab. I love these takeaways because it's so cool to hear other people's perspectives. And I was sitting here thinking, like, what is my takeaway? And Dave, in the past year of working with you, this idea of always being promoted and protected has really changed my perspective on back in the past. And maybe this came from my acting days when gigs wouldn't be lining up, or I felt like I was being left out of an event or something like that. I used to come at things from a real desperate place of, oh, you know, it was kind of feast or famine, right? It was like there's nothing going on right now, where I'm realizing in those times that things do come in these crazy spurts. You know, it's Aspire, it's a thing I hosted last week. It's coming to do collab with you. And what I realize is it's almost like a slingshot. I find it in these quiet moments where there's not a lot of events. It's almost like that's where the slingshot's being pulled back, because I know the next spurt of things is coming, and because of that, it creates an urgency in these quiet times of to create my own things, the things that I've been meaning to do myself. Like, hey, you have an opportunity here because you're about to be promoted and flung back out into the world. So take this quiet time to do all the things you need to do for your own content creation or your own workshops, because the next spurt of opportunities is coming. And I just wanted to say thank you for helping me adjust that perspective. So instead of coming at it from this desperate, oh my gosh, I need to work, where's the next gig coming? It has shifted my perspective on the things to do when my calendar isn't packed. So thank you, my friend.
Oh my goodness, thank you. And I think it's one thing to understand: the farther it pulls back, the farther you're going to go. So and that's another thing. And then the third nuance beyond what you're saying, Super Jim, is that it is also reminding ourselves that the slingshot isn't just for one purpose. And so if we look at things within the context of the daily practices, topic, subjects, matters, and expertises that we have, that, you know, while we're pulling back our speaking careers, or while we're pulling back our entrepreneurial journey, or while we're pulling back what we might be shooting forward in our health, or in our relationship, or in our golf game, or whatever it is, those slingshots aren't all pulling back at one time. And I think a lot of people, they get, especially actors, right? They literally get stuck into this slingshot vacuum that, you know, it was like me and my bank account. Like my entire life was that bank account. And if it went down one day, even though the balance was high, Jimmy, right? Even though the balance was high, if it got pulled back because it went down, everything in my life sucked. Right? When I should have realized that I was springing forward as a dad, and as a husband, and as a community member, and as in my, you know, physical realm, and all I could see was, it's so quiet, right? My business is slow. Well, good, because you're doing other shit, and you're pulling back the slingshot so that you can take the 100 million that you have and turn it to 200 million, not turn it into zero, moron. And that moronic lessons of not only the quiet time, it's only quiet for certain topics, subject matters, and expertises. It's impossible, because of the infinite nature of time and of activity, that your slingshot is constantly determinative upon the activities pulling back or shooting forward. And so it's enjoying both the pulling back and the shooting forward that will keep you out of the negativity of what we don't have, what's missing, or what other people think we should have, or what's missing.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much. I love the perspective, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks.
Oh my goodness, I cannot wait. There is talent, and then there's Jimmy Nelson, ultra talent. He is an expert in his space. If you haven't heard him speak, if you haven't heard him lead a group of people, he's one of the best that I know, and I've seen a lot. And besides that, he is a kind soul. So he will always do what he can for you, guaranteed. Every single time I see him, my heart lights up, my soul lights up. And he is a man of style, by the way, as well. He is.
Thanks, buddy.
I wish I had as much style as Jim. He has bad taste in football teams, but besides that, I have nothing negative to say about Jimmy Nelson.
All right, my friend. Have a great one. I'll see you soon.
I love you, man. Thank you so much for showing up. All right, we're celebrating the day after. We'll be celebrating that tomorrow and the next day and the next day as well. Come celebrate the day after with me every single day, 365 days a year, except for the fourth year. We'll celebrate it 366. Wom, I think we have time for one more takeaway.
Absolutely. We got time for one more, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Chef Ron for our last takeaways. We wind down our last 3 minutes of this beautiful power hour. Chef, it's all yours.
Awesome. Hey, Nick, I saw your interview with Jason. That was awesome. I love seeing you grow, buddy.
I really appreciate it, Ron.
I'm his I'm his agent. You can't talk directly to Nick.
How you doing, Coach?
Hey, buddy.
So my takeaway of the month, first of all, is kind of like what Julie said, is just showing up. You know, I saw you at Propelify, at Times Square, and the dinner, and, you know, maybe even 2 months ago, I would have had an excuse why not to do any of those things. And it's amazing when you just do it, you know, go out, get on the train and go, and all these doors opening up. But actually yesterday was probably the biggest lesson that I've had this month. Well, for last month, it was 4th of July. So as you know, with Groceries for Grandparents, we're doing those 100 meals every Friday for the Kids Can Cook program in Camden. Well, we did it yesterday instead of today. And so we did our 100 meals, and we were cleaning up, and there was a young kid, so we did it at a school. There was a young kid, Coach, standing, and we standing by himself after we were all done, and I said, "Did we miss you? Did you not get your bag of groceries?" And he was like, "Well, no, I kind of stumbled upon this." He was a teenager. He's like, "But my mom's sick, and we just found out about this, and we don't have any food at home." And I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know, and I'm like, he goes, "Can I come next week?" I said, "You have food today, you know, at home?" And he goes, "Yeah, we have something." I can see it in his eyes, Coach, that he was lying to me. And so a friend of mine from the YMCA, we went to the grocery store, went shopping, found out that his mom was seriously ill, and she's got these 2 little kids she's trying to take care of. And again, my takeaway is just to have an open mind and see what's going on around you, because I mean, I know that area is hurting, but it's just the amount of people that are suffering, and for whatever reason, to put your heart out there, try to make somebody else better. That actually made the news, and we're getting interviewed today by the local Philadelphia ABC channel of that. And I am just blown away, Dave, because all this is because of you. You know, you helped me myself out there. I think the old me would have just said, you know, maybe here's $20, kid, whatever, you know, go to the store. But me and my partner took the initiative and went and got some groceries, and found out the problem was worse than what we thought. So it's just listening to you, listening to your knowledge, and just doing it. So I love you, Dave. Thank you.
Ooh, man.
Yeah, I know.
I know. So
you know, we went into this house, Dave, and it was, you know,
we got to end. Ron, we got to end. So
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I got to be respectful of other people's time. But for all of you that are choked up, next time, remember that the more you give, the more you're given. The more you give, the more you're given. And it takes time. We're not perfect. It's, you know, our reaction to fear. There's not going to be enough for me. I don't have enough time. I got more important things to do. I got to do things so that I can get exposure and awareness. Oh, you mean by taking your 4th of July, providing 100 meals to people who need to eat on a holiday, and then taking the extra time to go to the grocery store and learn more about how you can be of service and of value. It got you more exposure, more awareness than hundreds of thousands of dollars of advertising and buying ads against some breakfast or some groceries where grandparents add. Huh. Every single time, I promise you, the more you give, the more you're given. Be worthy of receiving it and ask for more, but you got to show up. You got to tell yourself it's worth the drive, it's worth the time, it's worth the investment, because I trust the universe. I have faith that I don't know or understand the outcomes that I have today and how they get me to where I want to be or better. But you are a living example of abundance. You're on your way, my friend. I got to go. I'm 2 minutes over. Nick, go ahead, close out the room. I want to thank everyone. Happy day after. Reach out to me, david@dmeltzer.com. We are here to be of value and of service. Ron, I'm so proud of you. God bless you. God bless the Breakfast of Champions. Love you too, man. Nick, go ahead. Apologize. Thank you for your patience. We ran over. Go ahead, Nick. Close out the room. Thank you, everyone. We got enough time. Sorry. Quick draw McGraw there. Thank you, Gigi. Let me close out training here. Thank you so much. Wow. Let me just go over. Come and see us. We'll be in Vegas next week. The Forward to Forward. Come to the SiriusXM studios. Come and see us. We'll be doing interviews, do a meetup. Come to our VIP dinner. The pre-Forward the Forward event is the next day. Then on Monday, SoFi Mastermind. Come and join us. Friday, Dane Cook, Rob Riggle, Marshall Falk, Baron Davis, myself, a variety of other people come and experience that with us. And then the next day at Madison Square Garden, Stephen A. Smith, Marsha Stewart, David Goggins, A-Rod, Big Poppy, Aspire. You can get those tickets at Ticketmaster for the collab. Get the tickets for Ticketmaster for Aspire. VIP dinner, email me for meetups, VIP dinners. Come and see us. David@dmeltzer.com. Remember, most importantly, be more interested than interesting. Be kind to your future self and do good deeds. We'll see you later. Have a great day after.